So we're going to continue by talking about patterns of inheritance and what some of those different patterns are. So the first one we're going to talk about is simple dominance. We've already talked about that. So that's where one version of the allele is completely dominant to the other. So when we talked about the purple and the white flowers, purple was completely dominant to white. When you had only one copy of that purple allele, the flower was purple. There are lots of things that express either or, right? We don't blend them, we don't mix them, they both don't show up. So simple dominance is you have one option or the other, never both. So examples of that, Huntington's disease, that's one of the ones that's dominant in humans, and you either have Huntington's disease or you don't. Cystic fibrosis, you either have cystic fibrosis or you don't. Hemophilia, you either have hemophilia or you don't. In flower color with peas, you're either purple or you're white. Incomplete dominance is a little more complicated, and in that case, when you're heterozygous, you're in between. So that's the example where we have the red flower and we cross it with a white flower and we get the pink flower, although I didn't have a little flower icon, I use little pigs in our circle. So again, I think they're called Japanese 4 o'clock flowers. When you cross a red flower with a white flower, you get a pink flower. And so the red allele codes for the red protein. The white allele codes for no pigment. And so when you have one copy of the red and one copy of the no pigment, you get half as much red pigment and the flower looks pink, right? So you can have a purebred red flower or a purebred white flower, and when you cross them, you get a pink flower. Then when you cross those pink flowers with other pink flowers, you can get that 1 to 2 to 1 ratio of red to pink to white. Codominance is when both alleles show up when you have them at the same time, and the example that I have for you for that is with blood type in humans. There are 4 possible blood types: A, B, AB, and O. A and B are simply dominant to O. So if you have an A and an O allele, you're type A. If you have a B and an O allele, you only see type B. O is recessive to both of those. So the only way you see O is if both of your alleles are O. The complication is with blood type is that A and B are codominant to each other. When you have one A allele and one B allele, you see both. And that's why we have that blood type that's type AB, because it has both of those proteins. Again, simple dominance, incomplete dominance, and codominance are 3 patterns of inheritance that we see.